Oh my god, this looks so... Oh, wait, hold on. Should we do a video on something that's not Terraria 3D? Okay. Hello everyone, and welcome to another video. Today, I'm going to talk about some latest updates from Revenant, the latest word from the devs and what's changing with the game. In particular, there was a pretty decent post just today talking about the next patch. So this isn't technically Heart of Thorn stuff. It's better than that. It's something we're getting for free, and it's something we're getting very soon, and it's going to be a huge update. So footage in the background is going to be more Heart of Thorn's beta stuff. We still got plenty of footage to get through. As you guys may know, I recorded every hour I was able to play, so we'll continue with that. There'll also be a little bit of gem store stuff there too. You know, as you all know, the most consistent thing Arena has managed to keep updating recently has been the gem store, and they have not failed this week either. So the changes are the Dwayna's Regalia outfit, which hopefully works quite well with the Wings of Dwayna back piece. So I'm actually trying to preview that with the outfit for you guys. If you remember, the Balthazar outfit they added went really flush with the Flames of Balthazar back piece for PvP, so that was nice. A new set of Black Lion weapons. These are the scientific weapons to go with the Mad Scientist outfit, and there is the Sylvari Pod mail carrier. Something funny actually came to my attention on the topic of some of this gem store stuff from the subreddit just the other day, and this was on whether there's really any lore for a lot of stuff that comes in the gem store. My assumption is always no, they're just throwing it in there because this stuff looks cool, and sometimes, rarely, it's been like a reference to a Guild Wars 1 thing. Well, someone was talking about the Daydreamer stuff, and why the Daydreamer stuff was called the Daydreamer stuff. Turns out on Guild Wars 2's Facebook, they did give some lore, so I wanted to read this for you guys since we had so much Daydreamer stuff recently. The quote is this: "In the forest, the whisper of light wings, glowing and rustling. Some men say they have met with Melandru herself. Others swear they were priestesses of the goddess. In truth, we might very well never know. Yet these stories sparked our imagination and inspired us to design this item. We tried to recreate what they claim to have seen. Here it is, the result of our researches. We're happy to present you with what we like to call the Daydreamer's wings." So that was when they added the wings. I suppose the whole Daydreamer set is kind of on theme with that, and that's pretty cool. I'll try and do my best in the future to stick around on the Guild Wars 2 Facebook and actually see extra information they release. Anyway, on to more interesting stuff. Let's go with the big news straight away. The next patch for Guild Wars 2 is adding the fully repaired Lion's Arch for all of us to see. They put out a blog post just today called "Come Home to Lion's Arch" in the next update. Not the biggest of blog posts out here. First they say Lion's Arch rises, and they say yes, it is nearly time to unveil the brand new face of the city, and they link to their previous blog post here with the naming poll. The naming poll is now over, so yes, it turns out that the only player input we've had on the reconstruction of Lion's Arch ended up to be a player poll to name some of the areas. A long way from what we were originally expecting, given kind of the Season 1 voting. Maybe they've moved away for that for good, or maybe the fact is that because they ended up thinking, right, we have to rebuild Lion's Arch before the expansion, there's not really a full Living World season going on, they couldn't quite put the resources in, dedicate much time to giving us as the players lots of options about building Lion's Arch. All that said, I think this has really gone under the radar of most players. No one's really complaining about this. I do think it's disappointing. I would have liked to have chosen, you know, which buildings got dropped where, or had a little bit more, but ultimately, as long as the city looks cool and it's new, I'm gonna be a pretty happy chappy. So the names that were eventually chosen were: the Canal Ward is being renamed to Commodore's Quarter, the Lighthouse is being known as Phoenix Roost, the Lion's Court is staying the same name. I'm happy to see this as well. I was a little bit worried that people in general would always want to rename stuff constantly, and no one would want to keep the name of something, but no, they're keeping Lion's Court as Lion's Court, and I think that's really good. I remember voting for that. And the airbase is called Lion's Arch Aerodrome, best of the options, and the memorial became Field of the Fallen. I actually voted for the Ashford Memorial, but then there were a lot of comments. People said, look, you can't name a whole graveyard, a whole place in memoriam to many dead after just one guy. Isn't that a bit rude? And I understand that. So yeah, the Field of the Fallen, pretty apt. So those were what were chosen by the players, and that's our input on the reconstruction of Lion's Arch. They specifically say here, in light of the relentless attacks on the port, the new design is fortified against attacks while still providing a warm and welcoming cultural centre for the city's diverse residents. I actually thought we'd be waiting a little bit longer since from the time this poll came out to see the fully constructed Lion's Arch, but no, this is next update. What else is coming next update? Specializations. So this is going to be fantastic. This is the huge trait change. Remember, this doesn't give us the elite specializations, those come with Heart of Thorns, but this will change all of the core professions out there right now in a big way. They are revamping a lot of lines, adding a lot more build diversity, or viable build diversity, and introducing a lot more flavorful and fun elements to the professions. Most of what we saw over their 4-hour live stream was pretty good. However, there were a lot of things that seemed quite off. Arcane line for Elementalists, for example, seemed quite poor, as did a lot of the Necromancer stuff. Blood magic was, you know, something a lot of people were talking about in particular. And there has actually been little trickles of information since that 4-hour live stream, suggesting that many more changes have taken place. Even on that live stream, they said, hey, this is all super work in progress. There should be a lot of changes. So it sounds like they have gone through with them. There was actually a post from John Peters just the other day where he specifically mentioned, I believe this was in Twitch chat on a stream they were doing, that inspiration magic for Mesmers has changed a lot. Blood magic for Necromancers has changed a lot, and we already knew about this a little bit from Robert G before on the Reaper livestream, where he talked about, you know, that new aura and the changes to vampirism so that it heals your regular health, and also arcane elementalists. From the original livestream, they made it sound like you were going to choose between evasive arcana and elemental attuning, which were two staples of many LE builds when it came to like PvP and world versus world roaming. These actually, you're no longer choosing between the elemental attunement trait. This will now become a minor. My suspicion is that as a minor, it will be just as effective as it was before, except no longer AoE. But yeah, even in my critique of their LE changes, I said that this didn't really make too much sense. Ultimately, it wasn't a very fun choice that we were picking between, and now that's just become kind of a passive of the arcane line, which is cool. I mean, that's how many of us have treated it anyway, so it makes most sense there. But yeah, lots of changes. Don't forget as well that Engineer was hugely work in progress before. I wouldn't be surprised then to see ArenaNet reveal a bunch more to us about these specializations before the patch actually goes live in, say, the live stream at the end of this week, which we don't know what its content is going to be on. Other interesting thing about this post is, yeah, this is exciting. You know, Lion's Arch is going to change, specializations are coming, and it's the next patch. They didn't actually give us a date. They didn't say, hey, next patch is also next Tuesday, as some of us will be expecting. They didn't actually say that, so it's really weird for me to see that they've done this blog post. But hey, I'm very much expecting that on the stream on Friday, they'll probably say, hey, and all these changes are going live next week. Cool, guys. And they just kind of keep it under wraps for now. In any case, this doesn't mean necessarily as many changes as some of us were expecting. I do know there's quite a few people out there who have been saying, oh, there's going to be like a feature pack. Clearly all the specialization stuff is all... I have personally been of the opinion for a while that they're not looking at feature packs. Not right now, certainly, but maybe not in the future at all. But this definitely doesn't seem like a feature pack. Okay, so this doesn't necessarily mean we're going to get the Condicap changes as well. It also doesn't necessarily mean we'll get those wonderful personal story changes that we were also hoping for. However, they do leave the post off by saying stay tuned for more information on what you'll find in the next update. So that could just be more information on specializations, that could just be more information on the rebuilding of Lion's Arch, and those truly are the only two things coming. Or it could mean, hey, we are getting some of this other stuff at the same time. So it's a little bit in the air how much will change. At least, though, do remember that specializations coming in also means the changing of skill points. You won't have skill points very likely after this patch. You will have hero points, and you will have this new Mystic Forge currency. Everything's swapping over. So if you do have a large amount of skill points and you think you just want to be sure about things and buy your like bloodstone shards and stuff now, spend them before the patch if you're unsure. Personally, I don't think we'll be damaged by the swap to the new system, but yeah, that's going to mean big changes. And for me especially, I'm excited about leveling a new character and seeing how the hero point system feels, specifically when it comes to playing a permadeath character and finally getting a level 80 guardian. There were a couple of other small things that I wanted to talk to you guys about. First of all was a blog post that came out around the same time as the Ventari reveals. This was a hidden Arcana post, as you can see here, called Roleplaying the Revenant. There wasn't too much information here, really, but it was written basically to explain a little bit more of the lore of the Revenant. This I'm very happy about, because I feel like Guild Wars 2 has always been very deficient in giving us cool lore, cool story about the professions themselves. You know, like, we have some vague comments and ideas from, like, around launch. Specifically, the Guardian probably had more than any other class, but that's never really been developed on at all since the launch launch of the game. And so the Revenant's coming in. They are giving us a little bit more story here. Specifically, it's Leah Hoyer that was being spoken to in this blog and kind of given the information. She is kind of in charge of the narrative at the moment for the story. I actually interviewed her at Brighton a couple of months ago. So she basically says, or the information we can get from this post, there'll be a link if you want to read the whole thing, but given as an overview, I will say they have demonstrated they find the profession law important on some level. There's a little bit more talk about, yes, how this is definitely, like, Revenants are totally a new thing, and they are only just catching on Interior, and Ritlock is the first Revenant. Elements of the Revenant have always existed in lore, but Revenant as we know it, this is like totally new. And so it does introduce this weird thing where it's like, oh, we're going to play a new Char character who's back in time, who's going to do the Zaitan storyline, but is a Revenant, which is, yes, that weird time discrepancy thing. It is totally a thing in the story, which kind of sucks a little, but they do confirm that. They say specifically about the blindfolds that Revenants don't really have to wear them. It just helps them commune with the mists a little better. I was actually a little bit upset with this blog post because there seems to just be a huge section that's like saying, hey, the Revenant doesn't really have a distinct aesthetic. You can do whatever the hell you want with it, because basically you can in the game, right? You can skin your Revenant to look completely ridiculous, as you can with any class. But they kind of tried to hedge their bets and accommodate for that in the story too, so that people would feel like they could play a Revenant and have any aesthetic they like, and it makes sense for that Revenant. So they talk about how you can have really silly, happy-go-lucky Revenants, and then you can have more darker, brooding-style Revenants too. Regardless, I think Ritlock's deal with the blindfold, whether we want to wear them or not as players, I think we probably will find Ritlock is genuinely blind, and I think we'll probably find beyond that too, that he's blind because he saw the gods. Come on, that's just too cool of an idea for them not to do, for it just to be, oh, he only wears it because it makes him commune with the mist easier. No, come on, this guy has to be blind, please, ArenaNet. Beyond that, there's an interesting comment that basically you can look at the Revenants as the opposites of engineers. And that's going to sound weird straight away. It's like, what? How does that even line up? But it does work very well in the sense that engineers are always looking into... they're pioneering. They're looking at new technologies. They are looking to the future. While Revenants draw their power from the past, from echoes of legends of the past and lost magics from the past. So yeah, they are kind of opposite in that way, and that was an interesting perspective for me. Last thing that I think most of us will care about, they talked a bit about voice acting for Revenants. Some of you already know this. When you're wandering around in combat specifically, but sometimes as ambient dialogue too, when you're playing as a Revenant, the legend that you are currently invoking is fully there with you and sentient. This is what they say in the blog post, and this is why it will speak. Like, it's seeing what you see. It's riding shotgun with you. It's kind of like a multiple personality kind of situation that you've got going on. And so if you're summoning Jarlis, Jarlis will talk. And even better, they say that your player character will sometimes talk back. I'm not sure how much of these ideas are, like, just for us to be role-playing kind of thing, or how much will actually be reflected in game, but that's really, really awesome. They even say, look, some legends are much more happy to be alongside you, like Jarlis, than other legends like Malix, who are really angry and annoyed. Specifically the quote, and I very much enjoyed this quote, reads this. What this means for the relationship between the Revenant and Legend varies between individuals, as some legends are considerably more thrilled about being channeled than others. In fact, some of them are downright cranky about it. Malix, in particular, is so offended at having his immense power borrowed by upstart mortals that using some of those powers will take health from the Revenant. They talk about Jarlis as well and basically say, yeah, he's really happy to be back in action if you invoke him. That probably means he's dead. I think a lot of us weren't expecting him to be dead. We were expecting him to be, you know, another stone dwarf like many down there fighting the destroyers, still leading the dwarves. No, it sounds if we're invoking him like this and it's like, oh, this is his chance to get back into action. I don't know. I think we might be a bit disappointed to find that, yes, the king of the dwarves has perished at some point over the past 250 years. That's it for that blog post. And the last little thing that I really wanted to talk about was the fact it was confirmed thieves, and this could be coming with the specialization update too. We'll have to see. Thieves are actually getting access to an F2 ability. Whoa, now that may sound crazy, but actually, really, it's more of a quality of life thing for them. Basically, currently in-game, if you're a thief, for those of you who don't play Thieves, if you steal to someone, you take an item from them, and that replaces steal on your bar. And steal is still recharging underneath it, but it's obscured by whatever that skill is, and you can't get back to steal until you throw whatever that item is away. And this can actually be a problem. Not all the time you want to use that stolen ability. Like, if you're trying to stealth a lot, but you've thrown, but you've been forced forced to like throw the gunk from an engineer, then that can accidentally reveal you. That can be like a big problem. So they're getting an F2, which basically just means you can steal, and then you would use the F2 to activate the ability that you stole. If not, you can always just see steal there. So it's just a really nice quality of life change for thieves, and it's these kinds of small things that I think might be coming in the specialization update. Regardless, we're going to have that to look at, we're going to have hero points to look at, and we're going to have a whole new Lion's Arch to look at whenever the next patch is. A lot sooner than I was expecting. That's pretty much it, guys. Thanks very much for watching. I'll be there waiting with you guys. You might see another Tyria 3D video very quickly on the channel because there's some crazy exciting stuff going on. Any of you subscribed to my second channel, Concrete Ducks, will already have a bit of a taste of that. I was exploring regular old, like, classic LA on there today. Be link in the description if you guys want to see it. It's only 3 minutes long, but yeah, cheers, guys. Hope you have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.